you. Thank you very much. I'd like to first start by thanking John Sedin for an extraordinary year of service as chairman. He kept the association focused on our strategic goals through a year of building and laying the founder for bold new initiatives. He helped drive the development of our new Quality Assured Contractor Recognition Program. This is an important step in our journey toward professional contractor accreditation. John has spent 10 years on the ACCA National Board and has played a key role guiding our technical standards development. He is one of the nation's leading experts on building codes and HVACR systems. And he has devoted countless hours toward improving the codes and ensuring that inclusion of the right standards for heating and cooling systems in state and local requirements. I've enjoyed working with John. I've learned a lot from him, and we all owe him a debt of gratitude. Thank you, John. While serving on the board for the last 6 years, I've had the opportunity to learn from a great group of chairmen who have mentored me about our business, not just about our association, but our entire industry. They include Skip Snyder, Greg Leeskang, Richard Dean, Phil Forner, Ray Isaac, Stan Johnson, and John Sedin. This is a group of legends in our industry, great contractors and true leaders who have kept our association strong and our industry on the cutting edge. You all remain an asset to this organization, and I'd like to personally thank you for your continued support and advice. I will continue to seek and rely on it. Thank you very much. And I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to our staff and leadership at ACCA. Paul Stallneck has assembled a team that is truly defined as the best of the best. Their dedication and talent are real assets for our entire industry. They contribute greatly to our success in the way they work diligently to improve and innovate on behalf of our members. Let's all thank them for their continued excellence in pursuit of our goals. As you all know by now, we've come together at the ACCA conference to take a stand. I can't tell you how humbling it is for me to take a stand here before you tonight and accept the task you have offered me as chairman of this great association. I accept the offer and thank each of you for your support. Frankly, I'm happy to be able to stand before you at all. Maybe you don't know this about me, but there was once a very good chance that I might never be able to stand again. I've always had a great love for motorcycles. And about 10 years ago, Pam and I were on a motorcycle trip with about 10 other riders up in the White Mountains of Arizona. About 3 hours into the ride, we were on Route 666. Yes, you heard that right, 666. It's a road with numerous hairpin curves, which is a lot of fun on a motorcycle. Well, after I traveled through one of these curves and over a cattle guard, we had a major crash. I ended up about 100 feet down the road in a pile of boulders, and Pam was close behind. Within a minute or so, many of the other riders caught up and found us in a bad state of affairs. There was no cell phone service where we were. While some riders went ahead to call for help, it just happened that a father and a son pulled up in a truck. And the father just happened to be a paramedic. He realized right away that I had punctured lung and he took immediate action to insert a chest tube and drain the blood from my lungs. This action alone saved my life. 2 hours later, Pam and I arrived by helicopter at the University Triage Center in Tucson, Arizona. I was in a coma for 3 weeks. Besides the punctured lung, I had a fractured neck, a broken collarbone and thumb, a dislocated ankle, 10 breaks in my rib cage, a hematoma on my liver, and several other cuts and abrasions. Pam had a cut above her eye and several broken ribs, but was released from the hospital the following day. I stayed in for 3 more weeks and was sent to Phoenix for another 4 weeks of rehabilitation. Recovery from my accident was a long battle. I couldn't wait to get out of bed and walk again. I thought about it all the time. I made plans for it. And when the time came for me to finally get back on my feet, I was really excited. But in my mind, I was also trying to be realistic. I thought, on that first day, I'll get up and walk down the hallway. That will be a good start. And soon everything will be back to normal. But when I finally got to my feet, all my plans and expectations went out the window. Reality kicked in. I discovered that I could barely make it across the room, let alone down the hallway. It was very discouraging. So much for my big plans. John Lennon said, "Life is what happens when you're making other plans." Boy, was he right. You think you have life under control, you have a plan to make things happen, and suddenly the bottom falls out. We all see it in life, and we see it in business too. But even though I was discouraged when I couldn't walk across that room on the first day, I didn't give up. I knew there was another day coming and another one after that. I was confronted with cold, hard reality, but I didn't let that block my vision. A vision of walking across that room, down that hallway, and back out into the wide open world. I think this is a very good time to thank and introduce you to my personal team who helped me through my recovery. First, I'd like to thank God, who obviously had plans for me to stick around a lot longer. And the love of my life, my main supporter, my high school sweetheart, Pam, who was a lot tougher than me, and even though she was released from the hospital the day after she got in, she never went far from my side. Thank you, Pam, very much. As I look back, I could see similarities between my personal recovery and what happened to our company when the recession hit a couple years ago. We knew that we were heading into rough times with the construction meltdown in Arizona, but we never expected to have to cut the company in more than half. Going from 650 people and $110 million down to around 300 people and $75 million. Reality has a way of shaking things up. What separates good, successful companies and organizations from the mediocre ones? Vision. Reality may change from day to day, and successful companies will adapt to the realities they face, but they never lose sight of their vision. They know who they are and what they want to be, but they never lose sight of what's possible. ACCA has a vision statement. It's been the same vision statement for a long time, longer than any of us on the board today can remember. It's a simple vision statement that ACCA will be the essential partner for contractor excellence. That's our vision. It's not very long. It doesn't require 27 3-bullet point slides, but to me, that's the beauty of it. It keeps us focused on what's possible, not what's present. In the rough and tumble reality of day-to-day life, ACCA's vision keeps us focused on what's important. Our vision is one of contractor excellence. That means we all agree that there is a standard by which contractors should be judged, and some contractors are better than others. I have personally experienced this several times in my career. Every so often, if we lose a bid by a considerable amount of money to one of our competitors, I ask the general contractor if I can visit the job about halfway through the schedule. On many occasions, I've visited the project and seen, to my dismay, that the lower price contractor was doing a great job and the installation is as good as ours would have been. But more often than not, I've seen very poor workmanship with a lot of shortcuts around the original specification and intent. This is not what I would call excellence. Now, there cannot be a more generic word than excellence. It's one of those words whose meanings we all understand, but we each understand it a little bit differently. Maybe you're one of those folks willing to spend $150 on a pair of jeans that are faded just the right way with holes in just the right places. Maybe that's excellence to you. Or maybe you prefer to spend $4 on a cup of coffee because you think it's so much better than the cup selling for 50 cents at the gas station down the street. Maybe that's excellence to you. Or maybe you live in Arizona, but come from Buffalo, so you root for the Bills because you think they're excellent despite all evidence to the contrary. Or maybe that's just me and Ray Isaac. Or maybe excellence is all about the bottom line. Larry Taylor once told me about these 3 contractors in Texas who went out to give a quote on a job site. After walking the job, they took a few minutes and worked up their quotes. The first contractor said, "My total is $2,300, $1,200 for materials, $700 for labor, and $400 for profit." Second one said, "My total is $2,500, $1,300 for materials, $700 for labor, and $500 for profit." A third contractor quoted a price of $4,300. The owner said, whoa, you're not even close. Why are you so high?" "Well," said the third contractor, "my breakdown is $1,000 for you, $1,000 for me, and $2,300 to go hire the first contractor." So maybe excellence is about the bottom line. Maybe excellence means a lot of things, but we as an association talk about contractor excellence. What do we mean? I can tell you one thing. It means something very different from what it meant 20 years ago, because our industry is very different from what it was 20 years ago. About 3 years ago, our company had the largest, most state-of-the-art sheet metal shop in the whole state of Arizona. It was about 55,000 square feet, over 75% of our whole facility. As part of our strategic planning process, we took a look at our shop, did a full analysis of its cost, and evaluated its productivity and impact on our operations. We were surprised to discover that this multi-million-dollar investment was costing us nearly $1 million a year to operate. Wasn't nearly as productive as we thought. We prided ourselves at producing 70 pounds an hour in ductwork production, which we thought was pretty good for a mechanical contractor. To our surprise, the manufacturer was producing 130 pounds an hour. Big difference. Operating this shop was not integral to our vision and wasn't producing what we thought it was. We swallowed our pride and sold the shop to a duct manufacturer who bought all of our equipment, hired our people, and today rents and maintains the space. At first, it was a tough transition, but today we wouldn't have it any other way. Helen Keller said, "Life is a daring adventure or nothing. Adventure begins by leaving the familiar, and if we are reluctant to change or fear it, we risk staying in the past."